Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. The clock has started. The clock has started. Five, four, three, two, one. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
And welcome to Pressing for Flight, live from the Space Coast, where the schedule never holds.
Never ever holds.
I am, I guess, your host, Stephen Marr.
I guess.
I guess
Hi,
I'm your
Steve.
host. The one that you'll never see on the big screen unless I actually click on my face.
Do it. Click on your face.
I did. I just clicked on it. Hello.
Aw.
Now I look into the camera. All right.
You just scared some
Puppy dog
people.
face?
So, I guess just to give us intro, follow us on Twitter, pressing #4flight, and then just follow each of us individually if you want to see random just things from around the Space Coast. I tweet under Space Coast _Steve, but it's STVE. We won't go into why I don't have the full Space Coast Steve. And then we got Matt Cutshaw. He is Booster _Buddies, Booster Buddies.
Booster buddies.
And he's also the head honcho of Next Horizon Spaceflight. My boss, except he doesn't pay me.
So is he really your boss if you don't get paid?
He pays
No.
me in access. I
No,
have access
it's
to
ours.
things thanks to him.
He says I'm head honcho, but that's not how it is. It's ours.
You
It's
started.
ours now. I started it, yes, but now it's ours.
I will finish it. I'll chew you up for breakfast and spit you out for
We are
lunch.
we are a team, sir. There's no I in team.
True that.
All right, guys, calm down.
All right. Well, that is Mr. King of Mayonnaise Mountain, Stephen Keagle, tweeting
Hail the king.
at FLA Steve 321. That's Florida Steve 321.
Yeah, I live in Florida.
Somewhere in the 321 area code,
Yep.
Somewhere.
but we won't
Next-
tell you where.
Next to a shiny rocket being built.
321 must be a area code of some sort.
Yes. Yeah, he lives right next to a very shiny rocket that we're going to talk about, but not our shiny rocket. We're going to have to talk about another one. And then
No one's beating us.
the newest comer to the Space Coast, I'm sure no one else has moved here since you have, Becca Penland.
Hello.
Hello!
Hello.
I am
How are
Amigo
you?
Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare
The
to
population
die.
sign in Cape Canaveral has not changed since she's got there.
Oh, yeah. They got a guy out there he goes out there every week if he needs to and updates the population.
And he's like, oh, no one's came since Becca moved here.
She's tweeting under Game Master Becca, and she's been very active on Twitter as of late, sharing
Follow me if
various
you want.
things.
Cute pictures and videos of dogs and cats.
And some
That's-
cats. And some pictures of Hugh Hefner when he was much, much younger.
Have you seen him? Bill? Have you seen Hugh Hefner? Did you ever even imagine that he used to not be an old man? Because he wasn't. He used to be a young man.
I thought about it, but I guess I just never looked up pictures. You know, I feel
Isn't
like
that everybody?
I mean, I'm pretty sure most old people were at some point young.
Unless you're Benjamin Button.
Just not sure when that happened. But yeah, no, I figured like he's not an attractive man, and I think he actually died, didn't he? Is he dead?
Yes.
No, he's
No,
alive.
he's still alive.
No, but he
I thought he
passed away.
Yeah.
Nope.
Passed away a few years ago.
No.
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure.
He passed away a few years ago.
It's 2 versus 2. Fact checking right now.
Okay.
Oh, no, he
Totally.
did die. He did
Yeah,
die. Yeah.
Yeah, he passed away a few years ago.
What about the Hustler guy? Which one was his name?
The Playboy Mansion was up for
Larry-
sale, actually.
Is Larry Flint still alive? That guy's probably still alive.
Probably. He's the
Who,
better
Larry?
of the two.
Larry Flint, I think he passed away too.
Oh. How will the porn
man.
industry survive?
They're all gone.
Moving right along, the topic on everyone's mind who gives a crap about space at all is Starship.
Ooh, yeah.
Because every year we look forward to an update from Elon to tell us what's going on with Starship. I think, this will be the first year that he gives his presentation and there's actually hardware to look at, right? Like, because the first one was
Correct.
back in 2016, and it was the Interplanetary Transport System, and it was gonna be like twice the size of what it is now. It was much bigger. It was like 42 Raptors on the bottom. It was like,
Jeez.
yeah, this is okay. So this right now it's what, 9 meters wide. I think it was 12 meters for the first demonstration or first presentation, and it was quite a bit higher or taller, right? It was taller than the Saturn V, which I don't think the current iteration is taller than the Saturn V. It may be like real close to the same height. I don't know. Maybe one of y'all can look that up. I see Keagle looking around, and I also saw Keagle not giving the the raptor sound when I said raptor.
I missed it because I started typing.
Gosh.
No, you should have said it. I would have waited for next time.
So yeah, they're coming along, and it's pretty obvious. Thank you. It's pretty
Great
obvious.
job.
Yeah, you nailed it, kid.
Delayed reaction.
It's pretty obvious that they are kicking it into high gear in the lead up to this presentation, because they have. Well, a lot of people are assuming. I don't know if we actually have any confirmation, but a lot of the people that pay attention to this stuff are thinking that they actually pulled some people from Coco to go over to Texas and kind of help them, just help them along. So now they've got the wings on. But don't call them wings because they're more like flaps and they're more like air brakes. In fact, well, I think both Scott Manley and Everyday Astronaut did videos on how they're going to work and kind of talking about the science and the physics behind it. Basically, they're going to, whenever they're re-entering the atmosphere, they'll be adjusted, like going like in and out to help kind of maintain stability and control the pitch and yaw. And they can actually do this with just like the two big flaps on the back and then the two smaller ones on the front. And I was seeing tweets earlier that the two on the front were being installed, but I don't know if we actually got to see any pictures. Were you guys paying attention? I know everybody was working. Well, not everybody, but a lot of us.
That we're installing. Yeah. There were some current ones.
I don't want sound of it. I just want. Yeah, there was some video from S Padre.
He's been doing a lot of good coverage on that.
Yeah, they all are, man. They're on it. I wonder if they're like asking off for work for this.
I'm not sure because you got Padre, you got Maria, and then you got the kid. What's his name?
I can't believe I'd forget
Austin. Austin.
Bernard,
Yeah, sorry. Austin, if you're listening to this, my bad. Sorry, man.
Yeah, Austin's really cool. I've talked with him a little bit in the past. He is just a ray of sunshine, honestly. Like, he is such a positive dude. He's so excited to have this happening in his hometown and stuff. It's just so cool to talk to him.
Yeah, I've chatted with him before as well. Yeah, he's definitely stoked about it.
Yeah. So, obviously, the big announcement's going to come this weekend. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to really do a follow-up right after because Becca and I have to go to Tennessee for a wedding, and we fly out on Thursday, the day that we do the podcast. Or, so I guess it's not a podcast really, but you get what I mean. So I don't know how that's going to work. We're just going to be a couple weeks behind, but c'est la vie. We got to go to that wedding. We already been to one, or me and Brad flew up. That was before Becca moved down here. We flew up, so it's like we went for one friend's wedding. We can't really bail on another friend. I mean, I'm really stoked to go to Tennessee for this wedding. That's what I'm trying to say.
You sound like it.
I'm just always so afraid of missing things here. And right now, the thing that I'm afraid of missing is moving Starship. They were supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that thing is not going anywhere.
I know you say that, but this is SpaceX we're talking about, and they can all of a sudden do things like throw flaps on a steel tube and call it a spaceship just when you're not even looking.
Like I said, they still have yet buried they still haven't put down the telecommunication line.
But how long does that take? A couple days, maybe?
It's gonna be a lot because I don't know if there's
a couple weeks.
That's coaxial. They're gonna have to. They got to cut. They got to combine because you can't disrupt service because because you're cutting main lines. So eventually they have to cut or splice and then bury and connect, and they still haven't. There's 2 sections that are still
Right, but can
hanging
you give
below.
me like? It's not. It doesn't take a week to do that, right?
I haven't even seen. There's no one been working on it. I drive by it every day.
Right, but they could just show up one day. All of a sudden, they start working on it, and then they'll have it done in like 2 or 3 days, and then that would give them an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm afraid of. Is all of a sudden we're gonna be getting on the plane, and it's gonna be like, oh yeah, guess what? They got those lines buried. Oh, guess what? They're moving it on Saturday or whatever. You know, that'll be like the weekend that we're gone, and that's what I'm really afraid of.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, it was supposed to happen in September, you know, but now I think it's actually been like purposely delayed because of the Pegasus barge, which we can talk about that too. It's the one that's carrying the core stage of the SLS that's going. Where did it start? I can't remember. It's coming here, but where did it start? Do you remember?
Man, I want to say Alabama, I think.
Yeah, it seems about right.
Oh, is it the same? That's the same ones they use on the show, right? So yeah.
Well, yeah, it's similar, but yeah, it's the upgraded, core stage.
So I think they still use the same plant that they did for.
Oh, okay. Where was it? In Decatur, Alabama?
That was Alabama. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so that thing's coming here, and that's going to take up some resources because of they're going to be using the turn basin, the same turn basin that we're assuming that Starship's going to use whenever it goes up to 39A. So they're not going to be able to do it. So that's good, except that it might end up being during that time. But that, it'll still be pictures, but I want to see that thing in person, and I want to be chasing it down, trying to figure out where to be, because there's going to be road closures, and there's going to be contraflow traffic, and it's going to be like figuring out how to get from point A to point B to get the shot. It's going to be an exciting night, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Huntsville, Alabama, just so you know.
And I've been talking to Julia a little bit, like kind of just trying to plan it out. Like, okay, well, I'm coming from this direction, so where can I get from here? And then how am I going to get to over here? Okay, I'm going to have to go up US 1, go over, get down Courtney, and, it's just, I don't know, it's fun. It's like hunting,
Huh.
I used to
It's
go.
like espionage.
Yeah, espionage.
Yeah, it's like
Wait,
it's like
maybe I
being
don't know
a
what
spy.
espionage means. Oh, okay.
It's being a spy.
Yeah.
You got to wear all black, paint your face, run around. No car. You have to run everywhere.
Actually, you might do good just running because you might actually be able to like walk alongside with Starship.
Oh my
Because you're
god!
clearly not going to be able to like drive your car right behind it, but you could almost
It's all gonna
just,
be
like,
closed for a while.
just slip in there like right behind it as it's going. Like, no, I'm supposed to be here.
Don't mind me.
Just have a parade banner.
Don't mind me. Nothing to see.
Go Starship.
Oh, by the way, yeah, before we move on from Starship, though, Elon did tweet out some photos that he may or may not have taken himself, but he did tweet them out.
He totally did not take those.
Probably not. I'm pretty sure he's not just hanging out every day in Boca Chica. He's
You
a
can't
busy
even
man.
credit photographers what makes you think that he's going to go out there and take his own pictures.
Touche. Becca, have you seen these? You haven't seen these photos, have you?
No,
Of
I
the
haven't.
Raptors. They got 3 of them bad dudes up under there.
Nice job, Keagle.
Yeah, so up underneath here, that's what you would see if you could get up under there. And
Oh, boy.
it's just, man, this entire time it's like, yeah, they got this big steel tube, and you just see it as this big steel tube. But now seeing this,
Yeah.
it looks like a
Looks like a
real
rocket.
rocket now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
That looks like a big jumbled up mess. What is all that?
Well, yeah, that's the nature of rocket engines is they do tend to look
Ooh.
that way. But there are people that can look at this and tell you exactly what all of these little tubes do.
Oh, yeah. Look at those nozzles, man. Oh, boy.
Oh yeah, nozzles.
Man, all nozzles.
Raptor novels.
I love like the symmetry of these little exhaust ports or whatever those are.
That looks great.
It looks incredible. Yeah, I can't wait to see the fire come out of that thing. With
Yeah.
those things.
Just don't want to be standing there.
So an interesting fun fact is when we saw, I believe it was the last show, the show before that, when Steven had done the video of the actual Star Hop itself,
Hmm.
that was only one Raptor engine,
Right.
and look what it was able to do. You know what I mean? So three of them, yeah,
That's going to be amazing.
that's gonna be quite the show to see.
I wonder. I wonder how quickly or if they found the potential issue that they had, because there was a lot of talk about when Starhopper was coming down and all of a sudden the flame turned yellow
Yeah,
right then, and then of course it came down kind of hard because the feet, the boots or whatever had been knocked
Crumpled a
off,
little bit.
and that one tank went shooting off in some other direction. So it looks like it came down kind of hard, like it was losing power right at the end. I wonder, maybe it was just like a fuel shortage or something. I'm not sure what it was that what Scott Manley was postulating. I think it was that like parts of the inside of the combustion chamber were starting to like burn out or be melted or something, and were being shot out. Like parts of the inside were being shot out.
so they actually put crushed feet on those things, and they were meant, and they engineered them meant to be crushed,
Oh yeah,
so that they didn't have structural damage to the actual hopper itself.
right. Yeah, they call them crush cores.
Cross
Right.
cores, there you
Yeah,
go.
it's like a honeycomb pattern kind of thing, and it's
Right.
they're strong, but if just enough pressure, if a little bit too much pressure is applied, and the legs on Falcon 9 have the same thing. If the Falcon 9 comes down a little too hard, rather than those legs just pushing up into the body of the rocket, they have that give inside the telescoping parts of
Oh,
the
okay.
legs when they come out. It's telescoping, so there's a crush core inside there, and there's been a couple that have come down hard that have
Yeah.
used those up, and I remember there being a tweet or something by Elon saying that they used up the crush core. They used up almost all of the crush core because it came down so hard. But that's what it's for. It's for those. I mean, this stuff ain't easy. They don't always come down smoothly. Hell,
No.
airplanes don't always come down smoothly.
Right?
You ever flown in a plane and felt that bounce? I've felt the
Yeah.
bounce a couple times.
Yeah. Sometimes you're like, "Whoa, what's going on right now?"
It's like you feel a touchdown. You feel the rumble, and it's like, who? Whoa, wait, we're off the ground again. And then you feel it again. It's like, but it's no big deal.
And then the immediate stop
Yeah.
lunges you forward.
I always like sitting next to the like near the wings, like or wherever those air brakes are. Because you see like something open up and something change, and you see that the wind is being forced forward all of a sudden. That was I remember when I was really young and like flying for one of the first few times, and I was like, oh, that's how they do it. That's really cool.
So one of these days, I would like to take that helicopter tour that's over by the Cape
Hmm.
and kind of get an aerial view of the booster coming in on the drone ship. That'd be cool.
We should totally do it because it's the more people you have, the cheaper it is.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
down.
I like being
I'm
cheaper.
in.
Yeah.
Totally down, man.
They-
Let me just get my good lens and I'm down.
They can only do up to 3 people, but if you do 3 people for 3 minutes, I think it's just $20 each.
Oh, yeah.
We got some chatter in the chat room.
What do they got?
Down. Totally down. That would be awesome. Get some good shots of that.
Yeah. Oh, g'day, Harry Stranger Photography. I know him
Hello.
from Twitter.
Well, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. If you have any input, Keagle has a better view of the chat, and he will bring it up to me, because as long as I'm looking at this window, I can't see the chat.
I'll stare at it.
Please do.
So if this helicopter ride can only take 3 people, which one of us doesn't get to go?
You gotta draw straws.
No, I think we fight.
Whoever's not
No.
there, I mean, we're probably not all going to be there at the same time.
And if we do, then we gotta draw straws.
Yeah.
Okay. Nerf gun fight in the parking lot.
I'm
That's
with
what I'd say.
Keagle.
Yes. First one shot by the
Or we can
suction
just go
cup,
2 and
done.
2. Because I think even 2 people can still get that $20 price. And that's just for
Okay.
3 minutes. I mean, that's a pretty quick flight. You can do 6 minutes for like $40 each. It's really not that bad. Although I would encourage you to tip. I do think that a lot of people do tip, and it's like $5 or $10 to the pilot. But every pilot I've had, I've felt like they totally deserved it. They've all been super cool. There was one pilot that was. Well, I called up like a week or two in advance, and I really almost don't even want to give away this secret, but I called him up a week or two ahead of a launch and was like, hey, so what are the chances I could get a flight during a launch? And they're like, yeah, we're totally down to do that. And
Oh yeah.
and nobody else had called him yet, and I was like, well, can I have you reserve that just in case someone else calls, and like reserve that for me, even though obviously there's scrubs and stuff, and we worked it out. We worked it out where
Oh man.
we made the deal where it was like, okay, I'm here, and launch so far, of course I'm watching my phone and I'm like, okay, launches go so far, and they're like, all right, well, here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and we'll go out to the helicopter. We'll go ahead and get in and get seated, and they know how long they need to prepare because they've got to start the engine up some amount of time prior to, so that they're like, all right, as long as we're good to go at that point and we do start up the engines, that's when I'll have to pay regardless. And I'm like, all right, I'm totally cool with that. That's just
burning fuel, burning money.
Yeah, it's just the risk you take, and maybe they would have like cut me a deal if like they had the engines running, but then there was a scrub and then they had to end up just shutting down. Which I don't know. The polite thing to do would probably be to go ahead and take the flight anyway. But
Yeah, I was about to say I'm out.
but the thing is if they scrub it, I would like to save that money for the next day. But the deal was if we lift off and they scrub, well, that's just too bad. Obviously still going to pay. But this lady that was the pilot, she had never watched the launch from the air.
Nice.
So she was stoked about it too. So that was just really neat that she's like, I usually don't fly out here. Like she works for, I guess, the same company, but over in Orlando, probably that helicopter tour thing that's right next to Dave and Buster's, right?
Oh yeah, me and my boy have done that.
Yeah. So she said that she was just out here just for, the week or whatever. And she was really stoked to watch the launch, but it was, that build up to launch, it's like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? You're watching Twitter and you're watching the stream and if you're lucky enough to have like the real time countdown net, which sometimes we do, you just listen so intently and, I don't know. Anybody that's ever watched the launch, even if you're just watching the stream of the launch, you know what I'm talking about. You want this thing to go. But to have like a helicopter ride mixed in there was super cool. And it went off, right on time and everything. And it was about 3 minutes before liftoff, we took off and got into position. And she just got into a spot right over the channel in the port and just kind of hovered there. And we watched the launch from the air, and it was super cool.
I was saying, you had shots of that.
Well, here's the
don't know where they're
thing.
at.
I was like, "Where's your shots at, man? Like, what? I had never even seen these shots."
Here's the thing. So, sometimes you're just really excited about something, and you walk out the door without one of the most important things.
No.
Yes, it was about.
Why, God? Why?
It was about 15 minutes before launch, and I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot my camera bag." I didn't have my camera bag, and so yeah, that was a huge.
You got it on your
disappointment.
phone, didn't you?
I mean, I took
took
an Instagram video, and it was terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's still impressive that you were in a helicopter and you saw the launch.
And then I
of
also
course, not crystal clear, but
yeah, and I also took the video vertically because Instagram doesn't react to you turning your phone sideways, and it didn't really dawn on me that if I turn my phone sideways, then anybody watching it can do the same thing. You get what I'm saying? Because it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't react. It doesn't like turn the buttons and stuff sideways. So the whole thing, as far as like getting the shot or, creating a good video or anything. That was all a bust. But watching the launch from the air was totally not a bust.
Oh man.
And I also know that it's possible to get them to take the doors off. Although the time that I flew with them and I asked, they couldn't do
What?
it because there was an accident recently where they had taken doors off. It was somewhere else, not here, but it was like in New York or something. They had taken the doors off and somebody fell out or something. And so
Oh,
they didn't want to take the doors off. But I happen to know someone who has gotten them to take the doors off twice. So I know that that's possible to fly with no doors, and that would be even better.
Oh
even better.
man.
You're flying around like a UPS truck.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Dang. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna have to do that whenever there's a booster coming in, or for a launch. I would totally be down to do it again for a launch,
Yeah.
especially because
Definitely
I would
for a launch.
I would actually have my cameras with me, and I didn't even have that super long lens that I have now back then.
Well,
And
secret's
so-
out now.
And
If you could time it, I was gonna say if you could time it for booster landings.
that's exactly what I want.
Aw.
Now you'd have to take a little bit longer ride. It'd have to be like a 15-minute ride because it's after launch it's like 8 minutes later, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would still be pretty sick to get both.
Oh yeah,
Launch
it would
and them coming back.
totally
Uh-huh.
be worth it. Yeah.
Yep.
Because it'd be a unique perspective, and I know that obviously SpaceX provides great views in their stream and stuff, so you're not going to get anything better than that. But to be able to take those photos yourself, it's kind of a photographer's dream to be able to take a
Yep.
shot like that.
And just the experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
pretty
we're all
much.
used to just seeing it on the ground or on a high building.
right.
Yeah.
To be higher than the rocket is cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks.
yeah. You
That's
could
how
totally
you get
watch a launch
different-
from the air. Yeah,
Yep, that's
and
how you get different perspective.
yeah, and if you're ever in this area and you don't live here and you're just coming to the Space Coast, obviously you want to go to the port and you want to see, of course, I Still Love You and Mystery and Mischief and all the other ships that help out with the SpaceX stuff. I highly recommend doing the helicopter tour. And if you tell them that that's what you're interested in, they'll focus on that. Like, they don't have to fly a specific flight profile. There was one time that I just wanted to go up and get some shots of the SpaceX fleet. And so, I had like 6 minutes or whatever, but I was like, I really just want to focus on the port. And they're like, that's fine. Because they have another flight where, they'll go down the channel in the port and then they'll go down the beach and kind of show you around Cape Canaveral, Cocoa Beach kind of areas. But if you tell them that you really are just interested in this one thing, then they'll honor that, They're pretty cool people. I really like flying with them. I think I've flown with them like 3 or 4 times, and it's always a great experience.
Well,
Nice.
welcome to Helicopter Chat, everybody.
Yeah,
Sharing the trade secrets.
yeah. Well, I want to support those guys. They do good work, and just the fact that lady was just as excited as we were. She's like, I've never seen
Yeah.
it. I don't know if she'd ever even seen a launch from out here, much less seen it from the air.
Ah.
So she was just super stoked about it.
I don't see how people don't see launches living here, man.
Simply Safe or Space said, I've seen some cool shuttle launch videos on YouTube.
Oh,
from-
really?
From helicopters.
Yeah,
Oh.
but YouTube and seeing it with your own eyes is like two totally different things.
Yeah.
You
I wonder
you
though.
gotta see it in person.
I wonder if those were from that same tour. I would think so, because there's
Yeah.
not like a
Some
ton of them
shuttles
around
over
here.
Yeah, there wasn't much then. I don't even.
What was
I
the
don't
port
know.
like back then?
Just those restaurants, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
The cruise ships and the restaurants. That's all that was really there.
What about you, Becca? How would you feel about seeing a launch from the air?
Oh, it would be awesome.
Would
I would be a fool to not think so. That would
Yeah,
be
well-
really, really cool. I mean, I will watch a launch from any situation that you throw at me, just to see how it feels.
just to experience something different.
I mean, yeah, I've been here 2.5 years, and there's still lots of places that I haven't seen launches from. I mean, it's so true. The people that are really into it are always saying, "Oh, it never gets old, never gets old." It sounds cliche, but it really doesn't, because every
No.
launch has something special.
Yep. And you're going to a different spot. Like for instance, the last Atlas V launch, I was with Michael Kane. Shout out to Michael if you're watching. Me and him were actually at the Cocoa Beach Pier, and we were able to get some fantastic content from that. And I've never done that before. I've never been there. You know what I mean? But getting those shots and everything that I got was a different perspective, and it was just great. And now I think the other day he made a post about one of the sunrise, because we were actually there to get the sunrise as well. Yeah, it's just great. In any launch, you can watch from 401, you can watch from all these different places, but to get different perspectives, that's going to get you, provide you with some pretty awesome content.
Yeah, and you know that is one of the benefits to living here. And by all means, if you're out there and you just really wish you could see all these launches, it is totally possible to live here. The cost of living it's a little higher, especially like to live in Cocoa Beach or Cape Canaveral. It is a little higher, but you don't have to live right here. You can live in Cocoa, Rockledge, Merritt Island. You can find places that are comparable to wherever you're from, and
Yeah.
anybody can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, anybody can make that move, and you can see all the rockets.
Oh, the rockets.
And that's coming from a guy that moved down with two other people. I will tell you, as a person that moved down by myself,
Yeah,
you can do it.
yeah,
I work a job that is possible for just about almost anybody to get,
hmm
and it provides me with the stability that I need to live in paradise and get to see all this really cool stuff all the time. It is totally doable, and I am happy as hell.
yeah.
And all the saturated fats you need.
So, yeah, Simply Space said when Rocket Lab's launch cadence picks up, he's going to head up to or she, could be, up to the North Island. Is that what, is that Wallops? Is that Wallops Island? Or
Yes.
Wallops, Virginia?
Yes. There's actually a launch coming up here very soon at Wallops. It is definitely on the list for me. I definitely want to be able to shoot at Wallops one of these days. Virginia is a really far way away from here, but if ever in the future we get the opportunity to go and shoot at Wallops, you can definitely bet your booty that me and Steven will be there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd love to just, go to a completely different launch complex. Oh, and by the way,
Exactly.
yeah, Simply Space said that's New Zealand. I guess, yeah, North Island is where they launch from, New Zealand. I would love, man, that would just, I feel that's one of those things, like, I feel like that is a little bit out of reach for me for now,
Same.
to go
Same.
all the way to New Zealand. But man, it is beautiful there. But I
Now,
would
see,
love to see Rocket Lab launch out of Wallops for sure. I'd make a road trip for that.
oh yeah,
Maybe
Wallops
not a road
definitely.
trip, maybe a fly trip. I don't know.
But Wallops in Virginia as well, where they launch a lot of the CRS message. That's Wallops as well.
Yeah, that's where the Antares launches from.
Yeah, exactly. The 230.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. I was New Zealand as well, of course. Definitely want to check out those pictures. Or I think it was Brady who flew down there and was able to get some just fantastic content.
For you talking about for down in New Zealand?
Yeah,
I think,
he was there for a Rocket Lab launch.
maybe, yeah. Brady, I think maybe did. I'm pretty sure Trevor Malman did.
Was Trevor there with him?
I think so.
Trevor just went to Japan to film to try to do a shoot, but he unfortunately it scrubbed because of that flame.
Oh yeah, he went over to Japan. Yeah, that was a bummer. I was wondering if he was going to be able to extend his trip and be able to stay
Yeah,
and shoot. Provoke and Inspire, that's actually a buddy of mine, Monty, said it's always been a dream of his to see a rocket launch. Man, it was mine too. Before moving here,
yeah.
I was the biggest space fan that any of my friends knew, in Tennessee, but I had never seen a rocket launch. I didn't see one until I moved here, and now, well, this was probably the beginning of this year that I went and I counted. I went, I found launch schedules and started from when I moved here and tried to count how many I'd seen, and at that time it was over 40, and
Nice.
so now it's probably over 50, and it's still, man, this like we kind of joke about launch withdrawal, but it's real.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad here lately,
It's like
man.
it's such a bummer, man.
Yeah.
We're in a major dry spell.
Yeah.
Yep.
By the time the next launch comes, it's going to be 2 months. Like this is the
Yeah.
longest we've gone, I think, since I've lived here. And I know that back before SpaceX came around, it was only a handful of launches per year.
Yeah.
So we're definitely spoiled. But
Wait, does the shuttle still go up here?
what?
Nothing,
Shuttle? Yeah, a lot of locals still call rockets shuttles.
Yeah. Like, no, that's not a shuttle. That's the SpaceX or ULA.
Yeah, I think it's my boss that sometimes calls it a shuttle still. She's like, "When's that shuttle launch?" Because she has to work with me, and she does a great job working with me to get me the days off that I need for launches. But yeah, but I think I've heard her say a couple times, "When's that shuttle launch?" And I'm like, "It's not a shuttle." Like, well, the
Now-
shuttle hasn't flown since 2011.
Now, do keep in mind though, we're spoiled now, but we're about to get spoiled even more because we got a lot of companies who are about to be launching here. You got Firefly, you got Blue Origin, you got ULA, you got SpaceX. I mean, you got Revitability. I mean, you got all these companies who are going to be launching here, and it's just going to be launches all the time, and I
We're gonna-
cannot wait.
Endless things to talk about when it gets.
Oh man, I can't wait for a New Shepard. That's
Yeah.
man.
You think
I
they're going to come
can't.
here? New Shepard?
Blue Origin,
New Glenn. You mean New Glenn?
New Glenn,
Yeah,
New
yeah.
Glenn.
Yeah, New Shepard I think is only going to launch out in Texas or New Mexico or something. But yeah, when New Glenn launches, oh man.
New Glenn, yes, sorry, New Glenn. It's been a long day. My bad.
I feel you. Yeah, let's move on to something else here.
Yes, New Glenn.
Yeah. New Glenn
Wow.
New Glenn's the big rocket.
That is a huge rocket.
So, let's see. A couple days ago,
I wish they would do New Shepard here, though.
that would be
pretty
awesome. I mean, that'd be such a cool view to go up
Yeah,
go
man.
up above the atmosphere above Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be cool no matter where you are. But I think, maybe just because it's home, and looking down on the Space Coast, and like you'd be able to see all the way from the Keys, probably up through Georgia, I would think. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're going up above the atmosphere. That'd be awesome.
And
Yeah.
again, we're not experts. We just really love it. We love it a lot. We're not extremely knowledgeable on this stuff. We just really, 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 really enjoy it.
We try to get it right.
We try. We mess up every once in a while, especially when you've been working hard all week.
Yeah, man, you were working late. I didn't think you ever had to work this late.
Yeah, that's what happens when I gotta close, man. It's all good.
So,
Make that money.
Exactly.
so
Get that paper.
NASA made an announcement that they're going to invest some money into an asteroid hunting space telescope, and there's been talk
Ooh.
about this for a long time. I mean, there's a lot of people that are really into the planetary defense stuff, which I think is one of the coolest phrases that there is. Planetary defense. Yes, I am a planetary defense officer. But if you're watching the stream, this video that I've been showing this whole time, this is a video that Scott Manley put out a couple of years ago that shows. Here, I'm going to share the screen with these guys so they can see it too. It shows over time, like basically our knowledge of where the near-Earth asteroids are, and actually not even just near-Earth asteroids, because this is all like asteroid belt asteroids here, and that would be Jupiter out here. And it looks like there's a lot, right? Well, I know I don't know if you guys can see it very well. They're very, very faint here, but
Yeah.
all the little flashes whenever they light up, that is like that year we discovered more, right? And you see this number, it keeps ticking up because we discovered more. I want to jump ahead a little bit I'm not sure what point it is. And I highly recommend going to his channel because I'm pretty sure he did a video like where he was actually talking over this. If I unmute this, it's just music. Like he's not talking over it. but I think he did a video
Yeah.
where he was talking over it. And there is a point when we started investing a little bit more into finding these things, and you can see that these areas start to light up more and more and more. And we're just finding, look at this number. It started out in like the like tens of thousands, maybe not even like a couple thousand, and it just keeps climbing and climbing, and we just keep finding all these asteroids, and I guess kind of leading ourselves to realize that we should really get a handle on this, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of these things. Now, these asteroids out in the asteroid belt, most of these are not going to impact us, but you do see that some of them do fall in towards our orbit. You see, you've got Mercury here, you got Venus, and so this will be Earth right here. And so you can see that a lot of these do fall into our area of the solar system, and you call these near-Earth asteroids. So you'll see the abbreviation NEO.
Right.
And let's see, where was that article? All right, so NASA is boosting its efforts to defend Earth from potential dangerous asteroids. The agency announced Monday that it plans to build and launch an asteroid hunting space telescope as soon as 2024 as part of a new multi-pronged approach to planetary defense. The yet-to-be-named telescope will use an infrared detector to pick up heat signatures of small near-Earth asteroids against the cold backdrop of space. So the reason they're doing this infrared is because if you're just using visible light, most of these asteroids are they're just made of material that is really dark. It's not very reflective. So looking out into the darkness, which, by the way, when you're looking out into space, there's lots of background stars and stuff that are going to make it really difficult to find these asteroids. So if they use an infrared detector, they'll be able to pick up like the heat, I guess, from the sun warming them on that side, and then they can detect them that way. So a NASA presentation says the telescope will find 90% of asteroids wider than 140 meters that have a chance of hitting the Earth within 10 years. This goal responds to congressional directives set in 2005. Right now, only a third of the asteroids are cataloged, and none pose a threat to Earth for the foreseeable future. However, an impact by one that we haven't found yet could wreak country-scale destruction and cause more casualties than any natural disaster in recorded history. Even a 50-meter wide asteroid could destroy a major metropolitan city in the unlikely event of a direct hit. NASA says the telescope will help compute the chances of objects that size hitting Earth within the next 100 years.
It's scary stuff.
Yeah, so it's really important, that we do this. And it's kind of surprising that we haven't, devoted more resources to this up to now. And especially because it says there was this congressional directive back in 2005. But it seems like the thing the thing with space stuff is like there's a lot of times there's politicians that are very supportive of this stuff, but it's just really hard to get more money for NASA. And like it or not, this stuff is very expensive. You're talking about highly specialized people working on this stuff, so you got to pay the people. You're talking about highly specialized materials, and sometimes when they start out on these projects, they don't exactly know how they're going to do it. They have some plan, but there are probably parts of the construction of the telescope or the satellite or whatever that they aren't really sure how they're going to do. So there's money in time, and there's money in materials, and this stuff's just really expensive. And even though I think I always hear, I'm not really into politics much, but I'm always hearing, NASA is like a bipartisan topic, and most like senators and representatives do support NASA, and they want NASA to do great things and stuff, but it's hard to get them to divert money from one thing and put it towards NASA. So we wait for a long time until finally they're willing to put a bunch of money into it.
Or until a good-sized asteroid hits and everyone freaks out.
Yeah, like the one in, what was it, in Chelyabinsk? It was in...
Yeah, in Russia, that one? That's crazy.
Which was funny because that was in 2012, y'all.
Yeah. Maybe one day it'll be like the vape epidemic right now.
You talk about them there flavored cigarillos.
This
What
thing
is
right
that
here.
there he got going on there?
Wait a
Yeah,
minute!
this-
Don't be doing
this
that.
What
thing
has he
right
got
here.
going on there?
Yeah.
How dare you not smell of tobacco?
Tobacco. All right, old McDonald.
How dare you not stinketh?
All right. Well,
Hey, when that video gets like really big, it looks like an eye's cornea, like a green eye.
oh, when they
it's
really,
thick.
yeah, when it gets up to recent times. Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it goes up to 2015. Oh, the year that he posted this video. Oh, imagine that. It's just crazy that this many years have gone by and they've found this many asteroids and there's still so many more to find.
There's a lot of stuff in space.
Yeah, we need to go.
Big.
We need to go mine that.
Mine those asteroids.
Got to mine
Mine
that.
all that
That's
stuff
what they're
on
doing. Oh,
first.
what was it?
Got to go mine your P's and
The,
Q's.
you got it. Like the Expanse, where they go mine all the asteroids for materials. You ever seen that show? It's a good show.
I think, yeah, I watched, which this is like blasphemy because I feel like The Expanse is one of those shows that just everybody, every space nerd loves. And I did too. I watched like 5 or 6 episodes of it. And then I want to say like my living situation changed or something. You know how those like things will disrupt your life and you'll have a thing that
forget
you're
about it.
doing. And then, yeah. And like, it was probably like I had a roommate that had Netflix or something, and then I moved.
Yeah, it was on Sci-Fi. Yeah. Now it's going to be on Amazon. Amazon
really?
sending
Oh,
money.
that's right. Yeah, I remember there was that some kind of like conference or something that Jeff Bezos was at, and he announced that they were going to pick up The Expanse, and everybody went crazy.
Yeah, because Sci-Fi dropped them, so now it's back.
I mean, I really liked what I saw. Like they had the people that had lived their entire lives off Earth, and
Yeah,
then
either on Mars or on
going
asteroids.
yeah, and going back to Earth was like painful, and there was like a form of torture called gravity torture. Was it? Something like
I don't
that.
know what they called it.
You know what? Before we move on from this, I feel like we could talk about how, like, what we would do if we discovered an asteroid was coming at us. I feel like that would be a question that Becca would have asked if I don't know.
If you had just given me the opportunity, I definitely would have. But you said it first, so we'll just let it.
Was that really? Were you going to
No.
ask? No. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. You can chime in anytime you want.
No, I didn't have a question, so thanks for giving me one.
Do you feel like you have an idea of how it would be done? Like, I don't know if this is like, if it's like pretty straightforward or if it's, you know what I mean?
We obviously blow it up.
Right. Bruce Willis, that bitch.
Yeah, Armageddon style.
That's the only thing to do, right? I mean, what else would you do?
You play some Aerosmith and you blow it up.
All right. As long as you get the world's best drilling team.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I know nothing about being an astronaut.
Right?
The way I see it, we got 2 options. We either blow it up or we move the Earth.
Well,
Superman could move the Earth.
That's right.
I mean, that is an interesting idea that, I mean, you kind of, you might be able to move the Earth. If you put, you'd have to like put your hinges at the North Pole and the South Pole and have the Earth spinning underneath it, but have this like arch that goes from the North Pole to South Pole.
wait a minute.
With a big
The-
rocket
it's
on
not
the back.
flat? Sorry.
Well, Becca hasn't found the flat earther yet.
Oh man, I keep forgetting my homework. Okay, I will do it by next. I have 2 weeks now. I have 2 weeks.
Actually, I saw something, since we're talking about this, I saw something just the other day that said that, what was it? If it was 219 Merlin engines or Raptor engines would be able to actually move the Earth. So there's the solution.
Just put a whole bunch of Raptor engines on there. On the side.
See,
Exactly.
The problem is that there's that the Earth is spinning. So if you mount the engines on the ground, they're spinning, so they're not going to be pointing in one direction the entire time. So that's what I was getting at. If you had like this arch thing, you've got the Earth. Let's say this is the Earth. It is a sweet Earth, you might say.
It's really dark.
You like imagine it spinning. So you have these pivot points right here, and it's spinning underneath it. But then over here you have this rocket engine, like this massive rocket engine pointing this way. So even though the Earth is spinning underneath it, you can still.
Yeah, still go one direction. Yeah, go the other direction.
You see what I'm saying? Am I painting a good picture here?
Yeah. You budge out of the way, and then you have
that
ones in the.
demonstration ever again.
I need a rocket sound effect now.
How do you not have one?
I haven't found it yet. But this one goes for him right now. There we go.
So okay, so how do you move an asteroid? Say we find an asteroid that's coming at us. Now, okay, so Becca, remember when we were talking about orbital mechanics that one night?
Yes.
So asteroids are doing the same thing, but they're orbiting the sun, right? Okay. In fact, the video demonstrates that. So I will share the screen and go back to the video. All right, so all of the asteroids they're all orbiting the sun. And say, like, okay, this is the Earth, and there was one that was going to, when an asteroid's coming to hit the Earth, it's not that it's like coming straight in out of nowhere and it's just aiming at the Earth. It's on its orbit, and it happens to cross our orbit at the time that we're there, right? Mm-hmm. So all you really need to do is adjust the orbit of that asteroid so that it crosses our orbit at a different time. Because it's going to cross our orbit no matter what. All you got to do is adjust its velocity so that it either arrives earlier or later. So, like, say we found out that this asteroid, this little guy right here, was going to hit us in like 3 years. So we would launch something that would, I don't know what the trajectory would be, but maybe it would come in close to the sun, and then it would rendezvous with it on the other side. Of course, all this is going to be moving at the time, but they're going to rendezvous with it. And there's a couple things you can do to alter its orbit. Well, really, you're just altering its speed. You can hit it with something. You don't have to try to blow it up, but if you just have
a little nudge.
Yeah, if you just have something that's, a few tons or maybe a few hundred tons, it could just be a big block of concrete, and you just kind of just hit it with that. It's going to alter its orbit so that in that 2 or 3 years that it was going to hit us, now it's in a different place whenever that time comes, right? Mm-hmm. And another way to alter its orbit is you can take that same mass of thing, something that's, a few hundred tons, and you can park it right next to it and just keep it just next to it. Don't hit it, but keep it right next to it. And the mass from this thing that you've parked next to it has gravity, and it will pull it. You can either maybe park it in front of the asteroid or park it behind it, and it will it'll slow it down or speed it up so that it'll alter its orbit just enough so that it crosses our orbit at a different time.
Science.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's all we got to do. Like, blowing it up is actually the worst idea, because then it blows it into a bunch of different pieces, and now it's just like, I think in Armageddon that's what happened. They blew it up, and then they had several pieces raining down, and that was, I guess, not as bad, but that's like
was it like split? It split, and the two big chunks went around the Earth. And
oh, that's right.
Came down. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The picture they paint on there is like things are flying around in straight lines in space. It's like the Earth is here, and it is always here, and it never moves, and then this asteroid is here, and it's coming straight for us. Well, that's not really how it works. Asteroids are minding their own business, just going around the sun, and if it happens to cross our path at the same time that we're there, then that's when it hits us. And all we have to do is alter its orbit just a little bit to either slow it down or speed it up and make it miss. And I think I've heard on some podcasts, and I never remember where this stuff is, but there was some talk about like okay, what if we had an asteroid that was going to hit us, but it was going to be kind of soon, and the best we could do would be to alter where on the Earth it's going to hit. Like, say it was aimed for the U.S. and we're like, danger. It ain't going to hit us. And then all we can do is alter where it's going to hit. We can only slightly alter the timing of it, which is basically like it's going to hit the Earth, but we can make it hit when the Earth is slightly rotated a little bit further, a little bit less, right? And then do you make it hit in the ocean? Now you have tsunamis on all sides of the ocean. Or do you make it hit, a barren piece of land? Well, what country is going to be okay with you hitting their barren piece of land?
Well, they don't have much of a choice.
Well,
so there's going to be some open space somewhere.
Right. It would have to be somewhere. I mean, yeah, maybe the Sahara or something. If you could make it like hit somewhere like middle of nowhere, Africa.
Well, the middle, I mean, there's still going to be effects regardless. There's wildlife and there's things no matter where.
We got all dust, cover all the whole atmosphere, block the sun.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, all the stuff that'd be thrown out.
Sorry, Becca.
Oh, I'm still thinking. I'm trying to think of what place I don't care about.
There's probably a lot of them.
What place we don't need?
Yeah.
What's going on in Greenland? If we go there.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one. Well, I mean, I don't know you hit Greenland with an asteroid and all those glaciers rush into the water or rush into the ocean.
Yeah,
then you've got your instantaneous global warming or
then we're swimming over here.
The sea levels rising. We're all worried about global warming, and all of a sudden, they're like, oh, we're just going to smack Greenland with an asteroid.
There's a lot of open spaces in Australia.
All right, sounds like we have to move on to plan B, which is my plan, which is moving the Earth.
Yeah, move the Earth.
If we don't have time to attach whatever we need, rockets or whatever we need to propel the Earth, I propose we just get everyone in the world on one half of it. And then everybody jumps at the same time.
Wow,
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's like that theory of the elevator's falling and you jump right before it crashes, you'll be all right.
Yeah, that would almost work, but I don't think it would because you have to time it just right because when you jump, you're pushing off the ground, so that I don't know. It's within the same system, so it's hard to. I don't know if it would actually work that way. It's like the flat earthers say, like, well, if the Earth is really rotating, then why don't we go? Why isn't the wind blowing at 1,000 miles an hour? Well, it's because the atmosphere is turning with the Earth, and So if you're all on one side of the Earth and you jump, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work. Because then the Earth, like you're pulling on the Earth and the Earth is pulling on the gravity of all those people. What are we talking about? This has gone off the rails.
Thanks for making me feel like my idea had merit, though.
It did. Let's just quickly touch on this because it's Space Coast specific. The NASA's barge Pegasus is on its way. And I think it's going to be arriving tomorrow. They actually opened up media applications. Unfortunately, everyone that could go will be working, that we know. I mean, like, between Matt and I. So we got to work. But it's still going to be cool. I'm hoping that maybe I'll get to see it come into port. Maybe I'll take my cameras with me to work tomorrow, and if I just happen to get lucky and go out there and snap some photos.
Are you tracking it on that app?
Okay, so here's the thing. Julia, who is definitely someone worth following on Twitter, she thinks that she's figured out which tug is pulling it, and she's saying Mr. Jonah, which I thought it was weird, another Mr. boat. So we can have that debate about if we call it a he or a she. But she's pretty sure that Mr. Jonah is the one that's pulling. Do either any of y'all have marine traffic? I actually had it pulled up.
I did, but it's kind of glitchy.
It well, I looked up Mr. Jonah earlier, and it was much further south. It was like down around. Actually, she's got a screenshot too, like down around Fort Lauderdale. And it definitely said that its destination was Cape Canaveral. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the one that's pulling the Pegasus. But the thing is with barges, if you don't know, is barges they can't be tracked on marine traffic or any of those others. They don't have the little signal thing that they put out. Same thing with, of course, I Still Love You, the drone ship. You can't track the actual drone ship. You have to track the tug that's pulling the drone ship. So she's been trying to figure out which one, and she thinks that it's Mr. Jonah. So I'll be watching that and seeing when it's coming in, and hopefully it's at a time that maybe I'll just get lucky and I get to go see it. But it's pulling the Pegasus barge, which is housing the core stage for the SLS, and they're bringing it here for some testing, I do believe. Is that right? Do you remember, Matt? They're just doing like some structural testing or something?
That one for the center core. I haven't really been following it too much.
Yeah, me too.
I should
That's
be.
why I passed it to you.
Yeah,
I am guilty of that.
Yeah, I'm totally guilty of it as well. I should be. It's been a busy week at work, so I haven't really been indulging too much. I'm gonna try to make more of a better effort to try to keep on top of stuff. But yeah,
here we
I
go.
don't.
It's probably just right in here. Let's see. NASA's barge Pegasus will ferry the massive core stage of the agency's new rocket space launch system on journeys from Michoud Assembly Facility in New Orleans to other NASA centers to testing. Okay, yeah. So it's for testing. So I guess they're going to multiple NASA centers.
Okay, so they're only doing. So the core that's coming here is only doing a testing. It's only a testing article.
Yeah. This is definitely not the real thing yet. I don't think. SLS will be the most powerful rocket. Okay, 212 foot tall, 27.6 foot diameter core stage includes a cryogenic liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen tanks that will feed 4 RS-25 rocket engines and also contains the vehicle's avionics. Come on, give me the part. What are they doing here?
Where's the juice?
Where's the good stuff?
Where's that? It says NASA facts. Where's the good stuff?
Where's the beef?
Hey, where's the cream filling?
Oh wait, okay, here we go. Where's the part that talks about Kennedy Space Center? I don't see the part that talks about Kennedy. Well, it's testing. That's what they're doing.
It's testing. Just a test article.
Yeah, it's just a test article.
It's still fun. You got to test in order to get it right.
I mean, it'd still be really cool to see that thing, because that thing's going to be massive.
Yeah.
What is that? Why do we just like seeing things that are just really, really big?
You got to think of all the work it goes to build just something to house.
Exactly.
Yeah, something that just houses the thing. Yeah, we're not even. Yeah, if I get to see it in the port, I'm not even going to get to see the actual core. I'll only get to see the barge that's holding it. It's like when we saw the Delta
impressive.
Mariner.
Yeah, that thing's crazy.
Yeah, that thing is massive. Well,
Where do you think? Where's it? It's just going to come in like over by where SpaceX usually docks.
I think so. What was suggested?
Good question.
What was suggested? I think it was Julia that had said this to me. That it's going to come into port like everybody else, but that it's going to keep cruising on through. And you know how there's the drawbridge at the end.
It's going to go through the lock.
Yeah, go through the locks into the river. That way it can go up and get into the turn basin. Up by.
I didn't know the lock's big enough for that.
I guess we'll find out.
I'm
Or
sure
maybe they'll just park it over there where the Delta Mariner goes, and like in the Navy docks, right?
Where the Dragon capsule went
Right.
on that night when everybody thought, well, everyone was there to take pictures of it and it didn't even come all the way through. It went to the turn basin. So if you're at Jetty Park, you got pictures, and those of us who weren't at Jetty Park and who drove over an hour to go and check it out totally missed out on that bad boy coming in.
Mhm.
Tis.
Perfect. Oh wait, XKCD has a great look at what happens if everyone jumps together like that. Okay, well we'll have to look that up. Not right now.
What?
XKCD. It's this comic strip that's all like, it's like all science references. I'm reading a comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've been going for over an hour, so I feel like it's about that time.
We gotta go.
Anybody got anything else they want to add?
Yeah.
Jeff
Sky's
Who has entered the
involved
chat. Yeah, we gotta find those asteroids, y'all, because as cool as you might think it would be to experience the apocalypse, I don't know that it would be.
Let's get a few more rocket launches
All right,
before
quick
that
question.
happens.
Would you want to know an asteroid's coming?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
You think I just figured just don't. I'd rather not know.
Man,
Less stress.
some of us got children's, man. We would be
Well,
able
what do
to-
you get? Don't,
you know.
what does it matter?
It doesn't. None
Because
of
you
it
can-
nothing
dead.
matters.
No, because if you know, then you can move it.
Okay, would you want to know if you had no time?
would
I think
not
that's
wanna know at
Keagle's
all.
question.
I would, because I want to go outside and look, even if it's
Yeah.
gonna kill me. I still
Well,
want
it's
to see
gonna kill
it.
you regardless of if you're inside or outside. If you're gonna be able to see it, right?
Probably.
So
I mean, maybe if it streaks across the sky and then it just hits way off in the distance, then I'll be okay. I don't know. I've had many
Just gotta-
dreams about that.
You gotta fire all those engines and then move the Earth, and it'll be all right.
That's right.
All right.
All right. Well, that's been a show. Thanks everybody in the chat for joining us. We really appreciate that.
Yeah,
It's-
that was
it's
awesome.
It's good to
Just
have some
hopping in
people joining in with us. So make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You know, if you want to be notified whenever we go live, you're going to have to hit that bell, because I don't know that it notifies you. But we only go once a week, so you're not going to be bugged about it. We had considered streaming during Elon's presentation for Starship this weekend, but it looks like everybody's going to be working or doing other things. I mean, you know, you probably wouldn't want to watch that anyway. You want to watch it, you know, just the presentation yourself. But and next week there will probably not be a show, because Becca and I got to fly to Tennessee to watch some folks get married.
Can tie the knot.
And
No.
yeah, we leave on Thursday and we come back the following Monday. So 2 weeks from tonight, next show.
All right. Everyone have a great night.
All right. Wasn't there something that we had to didn't you have like a sound effect or something?
I was about to do it.
Do it.
Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.